I grew up in a suburb outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. Had a really good family. We were very close. Went to church quite a bit. It was kind of a good versus bad. Are all the good things that you're doing outweighing the bad things that you've done? And it was this constant balancing act. And I didn't really know much about football, but I knew in seventh grade more than half the kids or half the boys played football. So I played football. It was what you're supposed to do. So I was learning a lot. Our family didn't grow up with any sort of football background, but as I kept on playing, I had a bunch of people saying, "Oh, you've got the size. You can probably go play in college if you wanted to." And I kind of thought they were just blowing smoke at me. And then my first offer was Nick Saban calling me and pulling me out of the classroom to offer me a full-ride scholarship. And it was like, I guess maybe I can go play in college. And it was a surprise to me. When I decided ultimately where I would go, I was focused on academics, but also obviously wanted to play at a good program. So ultimately I chose the University of Texas. I ended up starting 4 years here, playing in a national championship. I was able to get All-American honors. When I was playing, it gave me an identity. It's who I was. You had people cheering for you. When you came to this stadium here, you had 100,000 people cheering for you. And you start to crave that success, crave that, approval of other people. It constantly was this thing I was chasing after. I was trying to fill the void that I think everybody has inside them with success, with accomplishment. But, ultimately I found that it wasn't there. It would, kind of seem like it filled up after something would happen, something great would happen, but then, it emptied real quick. And ultimately it became more of, kind of a burden than a blessing to me. It was something that I had to do, not something I wanted to do. Fast forward a couple years and I was married. We had 2 kids. We wanted to have our kids be involved in church. And my wife, she was a teacher at Parkside. And so that's where North Point started, and she knew quite a bit about it and knew that a lot of people had great things to say about Wamba Land and all the things for the kids. So we decided to start going there. And then at the beginning of every service, I'm going to probably screw this up, but something about our mission here is to lead people into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ. And whenever I heard that to start, I thought it was just a fancy way of saying trying to convert people to Christianity. But then once I started hearing the messages from all the sermons, I realized this was a different kind of message than I'd heard. And it really was about a relationship with Jesus Christ, which confused me. I didn't really know how you do that or what that was like. And then there was a point where they talked about starting point. And I thought, well, maybe that's where I can learn. Maybe that's where I can ask the right questions and try to figure this out. And then once we started going to starting point and asking those questions and really digging in deeper of what does true faith look like, I started to realize that it was completely different. It was about a transformation of your heart and what your motivations are, and not just about acting the right way. There was a book that was introduced to me in Starting Point called The Reason for God by Timothy Keller. And there's a point in there where he's talking about you can't act your way into God's good graces because God's grace is already there. Now I see him more as a father, as somebody that I can trust in, that I don't need to do something just for his approval, but I want to. I want to serve him as best as I can. And so it's been a process of me learning to have a relationship with God, and I can't say I'm very good at it yet, but it's something I'm definitely working at, and now I want to live my life for God.